volume settings. So, welcome everyone. This is another installment of our Interview Thursday. Tonight we have a very special guest with us today. Someone I met roughly 5 years ago at Florida Intercollegiate Chess Tournament. Shayesteh Talagani. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And go ahead and tell us about yourself and what it is you do and what got you into chess.
Thanks for having me. So when I was 7 years old, I remember it was a summer and we were at my grandparents' house, and my mom and my uncle started to play, and I immediately got hooked. And I asked my uncle to teach me the moves, and then he did. And I remember that whole summer, I was waiting with a chessboard for my dad to get home so I could play with him. And he would beat me game after game after game, but it didn't make me hate the game. It brought the best out in me, and I kept playing and playing and adapting his strategies and like testing out new ones. At the end of that summer, I started beating my dad, and suddenly it wasn't fun anymore. I needed like a tougher challenge.
Right.
So my first tournament was at my dad's workplace. He worked at a bank, and they held this tournament annually for bank employees.
Mhm.
Somehow he managed to get me in, and I remember that I became third in that tournament. And I don't think they knew how to officially hold a tournament because I lost two of my games against the same guy who won the tournament.
Okay.
So that was funny. Yeah.
Interesting.
And yeah, and a couple of days later, he gave me a watercolor paint set as a prize, and encouraging an 8-year-old.
That's
And
really
that
cool.
was, yeah, that was cool. Looking back at that.
And when was it that you had your first rated FIDE tournament? Roughly.
Um, I think when I was 12 years old,
Hmm.
I played in Armenia, the chess Olympiad, the World Chess Olympiad, and I remember I was the youngest chess player at the time, both in men's section and in women's section. That was when I got my first FIDE rating.
That's excellent. And during your time of learning chess, did you have a coach?
Well, back then, it wasn't so many chess clubs when I started to play chess.
Hmm.
And I remember I had to travel a long way in order to get to a chess club. And my first coach was Messer Hadi Momeni, and he had these public chess classes once a week. And so my mom would usually get me there, and I really enjoyed, even though it was like a long travel,
Hmm.
but I really enjoyed those classes. And after that, ever since I became a national member of the Iranian chess team,
Hmm.
there were mainly other coaches, some coaches that they were mainly helping the whole team, so that it was more of a group chess sessions. But I really enjoyed reading books, and I think I learned a lot from reading books. I think my first book that I read was The Road to a Chess Mastery by Max Eve.
Okay.
And after I finished that book, I became a member of Iran national team. So I played in that Olympiad.
Hmm. That was excellent. And now, when did you move from Iranian to here?
I think it was in 2013.
2013. Okay.
Yeah.
And the change from FIDE to USCF, was there a big difference for you, or was it kind of about the same in terms of
I think
formatting and I guess time controls and stuff?
it was a little different here
Hmm.
because so I was used to playing a tournament like one tournament a day, but when I moved here, it was like the whole tournament in like 2 or 3 days, and
Yeah.
that was insane, you know. And then here you had to bring your own chess set, and it was like, so I was surprised to hear
Hmm.
that you have to bring your own chess set to the tournaments. So somehow maybe that was one of the reasons that I stopped playing
Hmm.
in professional level. But then I found like other interesting things in my life. So I got my master degree in computer science, and
Very
and
nice.
now I'm a web developer, and I'm a freelancer. I'm also getting my feet wet at real estate marketing right now. So that's
Hey,
interesting
nice.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's going to be an excellent field too to continue on in the future. So congratulations to you. I'm very
Thank
glad to
you.
hear that. And yeah, so guys, she is a very, very nice lady as well. When I have played her over the board, I mean, she's super serious. Like I felt scared playing each move over the board. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just it's supposed to be a normal game. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. So, what is it you're going to be sharing for us today?
So I picked one of my games. It was in 2011, I think.
Hmm.
Um, let me. Yeah, it was 2011 and Dubai Open. I was playing against Grandmaster Alexandrov Alexei,
Hmm.
and his rating was much higher than me. And it was the first round of the tournament, and it was also my birthday, so I was in a good mood.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely. That's great.
yeah, so I think that helped a little
Hmm. And
to the proof.
I was checking out the tournament list as well. I noticed that John Ludwig Hammer was also a part of the tournament. Did you get a chance to play him?
No, no, I didn't.
Okay. Okay, I was just kind of curious because I see some big names in here. All right.
Yeah, that was I mean, it's a big tournament. Each
Hmm.
year they hold this. They hold this tournament. It's a big tournament, and most of the professional chess players they get invited to play in this tournament.
Hmm. And I can't pronounce this person's name at all, but WFM Kadmalshire. I don't know if I pronounced her name correctly, but she also played against your opponent. You're the only two women to get a strong score against Alexej. Do you remember who she is? I
Can you pronounce?
I'll go ahead and try that again. Um, I cannot pronounce this. I'm so sorry. Let me go ahead and put it here in the Zoom chat.
Oh, that's my dear friend, like Sarah Khademolsharieh.
I'm so sorry if I completely butchered that name. That was really bad.
She's also Iranian, and she's the number one woman. I mean, in Iran, and she's also playing in the World Championship and stuff like that. She's really talented.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Did you two like work together to prepare against your opponent here?
No, no, we
Hmm.
didn't.
Okay, I was some interesting things like some people have seconds and whatnot. So before you got paired against or when you got paired against your opponent, how did you prepare?
So I wasn't much of a preparer
Hmm.
like for the opening because I believe now that you have to know the meaning of each move. You have to know the reasons behind each move.
Hmm.
I see some of the beginners. They tend to memorize the chess opening and they think they got it all, and they play and they go to the tournament and they play against the higher rated player, and suddenly someone plays something out of their opening and they don't know what to do. And I think it's better to know the reasons why you are playing each move and then start to memorizing the opening.
Hmm.
So for me, I was just usually picking some openings that was matching my style and my preference, and then I would follow some top rated games at the time so that I would know the ideas and any new ideas, like if it was in the opening that I was playing.
Right.
Uh, but I was like this opening that I played, I was playing since the beginning. I started to play chess.
Hmm.
I mean, I was uh, with some differences, with some minor differences, but I was familiar with the idea behind like Roy Lopez or Spanish, if you say.
Right. And I had a question. I completely blanked on what it was. Sorry. Oh, yeah. So, what was the moment in the tournament here? So, what was your score going into this game?
Um, what do you mean by the score?
Oh, what round this was and so on.
This was the first round.
First round. Oh, wow. So you just
Yeah.
got hit with a huge pairing. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was the first round, and it
Hmm.
was my birthday. So I was in a good mood, and usually, like in the first round of tournaments,
Hmm.
I would play better than the. Maybe I had more energy, if
Yeah.
you say, and I was relaxed. I didn't prepare much before the game because my opponent was much stronger than I was,
Hmm.
and he played like a couple of openings, and I didn't know which one to prepare against. So I just went with my initial opening ideas.
Hmm.
So it was e4, e5. knight f3 and knight c6 and bishop b5.
Okay.
I mean, my whole life I played bishop b5, so I had some clear ideas about what I was doing at the time. And main line is like a6, because black is just asking white what you want to do, if you want to exchange your bishop with my knight, or if you want to retreat your bishop. And when I started to play chess, when I was a beginner, I was always exchanging my bishop with the knight, and I would go and play an end game, and I would play against like I would take here, and then the best move is just to take with the d pawn, because white here cannot take the e5 pawn. It's not a free pawn because of the e4 pawn that is hanging right there. So black would play like queen d4,
right,
and the, like double attacking the knight and the pawn. So it's not possible. And if black takes the pawn, takes the bishop, I would generally play d4 and then take, and then I would play for the end game, because white has some so white has a slightly better position because of the pawn structure. As you can see, what black has double pawn on the c file, and black has also a small advantage. He has like 2 bishops, but my results in this game is like, I think I won all the games that I played and I drew 1.
Oh wow!
So I really like this. Yeah, but then when I become a little bit stronger and I got a higher rating, I started to play the main line, because I thought that was kind of boring to just play the end game. So
was this near your peak rating, or did this achieve your peak rating?
This is, I think, near my peak rating.
All right. So
yeah,
we got some very strong chess here. Let's go.
So I played bishop a4, and knight f6 is the main line, castle, bishop e7, and then rook e1. These are just the main lines of the Spanish or closed Ruy Lopez. And then here black plays b5, because now the reason for that is, if black doesn't play b5 and if black plays castle, now the e4 pawn is defended with the rook on e1. So white can just simply take the knight and then take the free pawn. So that's the reason.
Castled, you're not afraid of rook coming back over.
So that's the reason black plays b5 here, and bishop b3, and castle. I'm sorry, b6. c3. The idea behind c3 is opening a square for the bishop, because you don't want to lose your bishop. After black played d6, he wants to play knight a5 and attacking the bishop and getting the 2 bishop advantage from white.
Right.
That's why white plays c3.
Yeah.
And black played castle. And here the main line is h3 and d4. I played h3 because I was just trying to prevent black from playing bishop g4 and pinning my knight on f3. So I played h3 with the idea of when he played knight a5, bishop c2, and then c5. Now I can simply play d4, and he doesn't have the bishop on g4 anymore. So my pawn on d4 is completely protected. And then he played queen c7, which is the main line. And here I decided to play d5. I mean, I knew that the main line was to play knight d2, but I remember I had analyzed the opening a little with my, with the national coach at the time, Mr. Aloysius Kevenis, who, rest in peace, I mean, he was a great coach. And we analyzed these ideas, and then I decided to play, but we didn't prepare, like, we just had some ideas of how to play this opening. We didn't really go into the depth of the opening or anything. So I played d5, And then here he played bishop d7.
Mm-hmm. Now, for the segment being psychology of competition here,
Mhm.
so far it's very standard. You're still in the opening stages and such. When you played this move d5, which would be not, I guess, necessarily a top move, did your opponent take some time here to determine like what this move is actually doing?
I think he didn't, because maybe somehow he was underestimating me at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he was thinking like this is just a simple opening. He was just playing fast, and he didn't pay attention. And I think that was the reason he played bishop d7.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was thinking that I don't know the idea behind the moves, and I might like panic or play something very bad, and he might take advantage of that.
Right.
But I think bishop d7 was not a top move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, bishop d7 was fine. C4, the next move, was not good, because when I played b3, he played here c4.
Mm-hmm.
C4 is not that. Black shouldn't close the queen side pawn structure by c4, because as you can see, once he played c4 and I played b4,
Mm-hmm.
and the knight has to retreat to b7, and you can see that this knight on b7, he doesn't have any places to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the best place he can go is d8, and even from d8 he doesn't have any other places to go. So my whole idea of playing this line was to somehow limiting the knight on a5, and then he played what I liked. I mean, he played c4, and then I played b4, and from now on I think white has a slightly better position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this knight he looks really sad. In order to get anywhere, you have to get over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
And I think a typical move here is to play a4,
Mm-hmm.
attacking the black chain pawn structure here. And white is trying to open the position using the fact that the knight doesn't have any place to go. And it's funny, but I think the main reason that I won the game was this knight and b7. I mean, I took advantage of this move at the end, this piece.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the pawn, and I took it back. And he played a5. He was just trying to get rid of the weak pawn that he had on a6, and maybe he was hoping for me to take the pawn, and now he could just bring his knight to c5, and suddenly this knight becomes the strongest piece on the chessboard.
Right.
But white shouldn't fall into traps. So white should just wait for black to take on b4, because once you wait for the black to take on b4, you can grab it back with the pawn on c3, and then you are still controlling the c5 square, limiting the moves of the knight on b7.
Right. And if you're able, I guess if you're able to move this pawn, then you have the square free for your knight to go to c3.
Exactly, yeah. So he played a5. I just exchanged my bishop. That's a good move, because my idea was just to play a simple game, exchanging the good pieces and playing against his bad piece, which was on b7.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it back, and the simple development, I played bishop e3. He played g6. Now black is trying to open the game from the king side, because obviously he couldn't do much at the queen side, and this knight is out of the game.
Right.
So he was just trying to play like f5, maybe f4, or maybe exchange the pawns, so he could maybe attack the pawn on d5. But black doesn't have so many options here, because even though he played g6, after a simple move, I mean, I played knight a3,
Mm-hmm.
developing my knight and attacking the b5 square, and I'm just threatening, and I'm planning to threaten the queen on c7. He played f5, following his idea,
Mm-hmm.
and then I played knight b5, attacking his queen. I didn't have to worry about the pawn on e4, because I'm just attacking his queen right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he played queen b8, and again I had a counterattack, so I played bishop h6, attacking his rook right now, and all these are like forcing moves.
Right.
So he can't do anything else about them.
Mm-hmm. And I bet you
And
felt pretty good about this position too.
I did, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did, and I mean, from the psychological point of view, I didn't worry much about the position because that was like my area of expertise. Not like I was so expert in the position. My opponent still was a very strong grandmaster,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't think about his title or his rating at the time. I was just thinking to play my best game.
Gotcha.
And at this position,
And
yeah.
it's your birthday.
Yeah, and it's my birthday. So he played rook f7. Obviously, he couldn't take the pawn because I would just grab the rook and I'm attacking his bishop and white is winning.
Yeah.
So he played rook f7. And now I played queen e2, defending the pawn on e4. And I'm also attacking the pawn on c4,
Mm-hmm.
which is really weak right now. And he had to again play knight b6. So he didn't have any other choices. And now I regrouped my pieces. So I played knight d2 because the knight was not doing much on f3. I tried to bring it to the game from c4 because the c4 pawn is hanging, and also I could later maybe grab the pawn on e4 with my knight and have some pressure on f6 or g5 from there.
Right.
And he took the pawn on e4, and I took it back. And he took the pawn on b4 because I think he was also in some kind of time trouble because he spent so much time trying to bringing back maybe his knight to the game, the knight on b7,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't do that. And at this point, he was just maybe tired of this position, and he just took my pawn. And he couldn't even, I think he couldn't take the pawn on d5 because if he did, I would simply grab the pawn on c4. And a very interesting variation that I saw is like if he played knight f4, I could grab the knight, and then he can't take it back with the rook because of the pin,
Mm-hmm.
like this pin, and he had to grab it back with the pawn. And here I had the very interesting move, knight c5, which is a discovered attack. I'm attacking
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm attacking the bishop on
Mm-hmm.
e7 with my rook, and because of the pin, he can't really grab this because then I would grab it like that, and then I'm attacking the rook on f7 with my
Ouch.
rook and queen. Yeah, and then like it could go like this, like knight d8. That's how I saw it, like knight c7, attacking the other rook, and then rook a7, and maybe rook d1. And white is clearly have a winning position.
Mm-hmm.
So here he took the pawn on b4, and I took it back, and exchanging the rook on a1, and then finally he grabbed the pawn on d5 because now I don't have the rook on e1 to attack the bishop on e7 anymore. But as you can see, my main advantage here is just playing against the bad knight on b7 because this knight is still out of the game. He can't do anything.
Yeah, that's amazing. Surprised.
So I played.
I'm sorry if I may ask a question. But
Sure.
it seems that this is also a time-sensitive position, as if you do give him an option, he will be able to come into the game.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
I have to be careful about that too.
Okay.
But as you can see, all my moves are like forcing. He doesn't get time to bring the knight back.
Right.
So I played queen c4, attacking the knight on d5, and he played knight b6, and there it goes, knight queen c6, attacking the knight on b6 now. And I'm also having in mind the like rook a7, attacking the knight on b7. So he played d5 because he thought he has to like somehow open the game. Otherwise, white has so much space right now, and if like black was just waiting for me, I could just win in the next couple of moves. So he played d5, And even though he played d5, I didn't have to touch my knight or go anywhere. I just played a counter attack, and I played rook a7, attacking the knight on b7. Because now if he takes the knight, I would take the knight on b7, and I would grab the free piece on b6. So he couldn't do that. So he had to play bishop h4. Now he's protecting the knight with his rook on f7. And but this move, now I could just take the knight on b6, and then he grabbed my knight. And I also here played a simple move. I mean, not all the moves should be like tactical or complicated. I played the bishop e3. I'm protecting the pawn on f2, and I'm also protecting my rook on a7. Later, I could just move my queen without worrying about not having any defense on a7. He played king g7, and now I saw that knight and the pawn on e4 is hanging, so I played knight c3, attacking the weak pawn on e4, bishop d8, and still you see he can't move his knight because the queen is hanging, and because of the pin, he can't move the knight.
Right.
So I played queen b5, and then here he played h6. He doesn't really have any other, better choices. He played h6, and I just took the free pawn. And he played bishop g5.
Now, this kind of position is, like, I would know I'm better as white, but still feel like I might screw something up. So, how much time did you have left in this position here? Plenty to convert? On the clock.
I mean, I don't remember because that's like for 2011.
Sure, no problem.
But I think I didn't have, I think I was better in time comparing to my opponents. So I think I didn't have any time trouble. And then I just exchanged the knight with the bishop. And again here, it's and you see, black pawn structure is terrible. He has 3 pawn islands on e5, g6, and g5. And his knight on b7 cannot move. And his pawn on e5 is hanging, because if he moves the queen, I can just grab the pawn on e5. So here I played queen b6. So again, he can't touch his knight. He played queen c8. So now he wants to free his knight from there. But then he lost the pawn on g5. And here white is just 2 pawns up with a huge advantage and winning position. He played queen d7. Here I could play like moves like rook a6, attacking the pawn on g6. I mean, white position is completely winning, but then I decided to go to an endgame because I thought it's less riskier, and I was just 2 pawn up, and I knew the endgame, so he didn't have any chances. So I decided to play bishop x6 check, and here he took the bishop. If he didn't, then just the pawn on e5 was hanging, so he had to take it. Queen b7,
and simplification.
And then it's just a simple game, yeah. Here I played b5, e4, rook e7, attacking the pawn. On e4, he played rook f5, trying to bring his rook to this square and attacking my pawn from behind the pawn. But he just didn't have enough time to do that because it was just late, too late. So he played rook b5, and I played b7, check, and then queen h2, king g5. He was just trying to bring his king to the game, maybe from f6, but then I played a simple rook f7, so he couldn't do that. He played rook b2, and he has to keep his rook at this line to prevent me from promoting. So
Now,
I played,
oh,
yeah.
when I first met you, you mentioned a book. What was it? By Paul Kira's Practical Chess Endings.
It was the book was uh, A Way to Chess Mastery by Max Eve.
Oh, that was the other one too. Yes, I remember that you also mentioned an Endgame book.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I was wondering if this is all part of that too. This is
Yes, I
very
mean this is
practical.
yeah, these are like practical, typical end games because as you can see here in the game, I mean if Black could somehow bring his king and to b8, maybe he could do something. But the fact that he has like two pawn island on e4 and g6 would make that very hard. Even though if I mean right now he couldn't even do that because my rook on f7 is just controlling all the f line,
Right.
and I'm preventing him. But even if he could, I could just grab the pawn on e4 and g6, and I would have like three extra pawns on the king side, and it would easily be a win. But these are like typical end games, and when you see like when you read books of end games, these are all covered in the good chess end games.
Right. I was just
So
curious because I thought that was
yeah,
very interesting.
so here I played king g3, and he checked. He
Mhm.
didn't have anything else to do. I played f3, and he took it. If he didn't take, let's say if he played e3,
Mhm.
trying to have some counter play, I would just play f4 check, and he can't play king h5 because of mate. So he has to play king h6,
Mhm.
and then I would play king f3, and here Black is in zugzwang because he has to let go of the pawn on e3. Then I would, because if he played anything else, I would promote. So he has to like keep his rook, and then I would just grab the pawn.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's just simple endgame.
Wow. I would not have seen that as a checkmate or as a zugzwang. Wow.
So he has to take my pawn, and I would just grab it back. And then here he played rook king h5, and now I played king f4. This is also typical because now white is planning to play king e5, king d6, king c7, and then promoting.
Right.
And there is nothing that Black can do about it. He played g5, king e5, king h4, king d6, and then he grabbed my pawn on h3,
Hmm.
king c7. I'm trying to promote, so he has to check me. And I played king b8, and then here he resigned. But if he played rook b3, I would just play king c8 this time, and then again check. This time I would play rook c7,
Hmm.
and he would just lose because he can't grab my rook, and he has to sacrifice his rook. Um, and I'm in time to defend my pawn on f3,
Whew,
and
just
white is
barely.
just winning. Yeah.
That's incredible. It's amazing too that even though you're up two full clean pawns and one of them's a passer, you still have to play very technical and accurate chess.
Yeah, exactly.
So now that must have felt really good as soon as you got that win.
It did because it was my birthday. Remember?
Absolutely, and that probably set the tone too for the rest of the tournament because you said you didn't have any losses, only one draw, so that definitely pumped you up to be like, okay, I definitely can get. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So we have some people in the chat here just kind of going along the way. They're saying that they really like you, looked you up, so that you are fabulous and stuff. So nice
Oh,
job.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. No, this is an excellent game. I am very impressed. And wow. Um, I wish that we had some more games for you to show us today, but obviously this is definitely one of the big ones with the 2600. I can't even. Ay, ay, ay. Have you played anybody else at that level or around the 2600 range?
I did, yeah.
Or stronger?
I don't remember. I don't remember the. I mean, I played against Karpov once, but I
No
lost.
way.
Yeah.
Was it
And
classical or blitz?
no, it was. I think it was a simultaneous game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh, uh, I could also maybe show you another game, but I don't have. I don't remember so much about the opening because I mean it was before this tournament when I was getting my woman grandmaster chess norm at the Aerofluid chess tournament
Uh-huh.
in Moscow. But that would maybe some other time because I
Sure,
don't
sure.
have so much. I don't. I had to like uh, go bef- go over the game once before to show it to you because I don't
Yeah.
remember it that much. It was like for 2011.
No worries. That's absolutely fine. But I do have a couple notes here. It was this tournament that helped you qualify for the FIDE World Chess Championship.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. I must have
This was
misread.
just
I'm sorry.
a normal like open tournament,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a big tournament because many chess grandmasters from all over the world would get invited to play in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Man, I would be walking in shaking like crazy,
And
intimidated.
you know, it was near Iran, so we would always play once a year in this tournament. But ever since I moved to the US, I just stopped playing all the way.
Mm-hmm. I just finished the Netflix series yesterday, the Queen's Gambit. Have you had a chance to watch it yet?
I heard a lot about it, but no, I haven't
No,
had a
you got
chance.
to. Absolutely, is an excellent, excellent series. So if you got
I
time, go ahead
will,
and check it
sure.
out. So anyway, thank you so much again, Shayesteh. I really appreciate you doing this for us today. And as always, it's always an honor to talk to you because I always learn something very interesting from you.
You're welcome.
So,
Anytime.
you guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us for Interview Thursday. Next week, I have someone from the Netherlands. Oh, wait. He's actually probably watching right now, so if I said it wrong, he's going to be all over me again. Name is Guy Bielderman, and we will go ahead and have him with us. He is also a Chessable author, which guys don't know Chessable. It's a electronic chess books you can download online and go ahead and practice your openings, tactics, and so on. So go ahead and check that out as well. So again, thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening, and Shayesteh, you have a wonderful night.